In this video, I'll show you the track list, which you can get to by clicking here, which shows you all of the tracks in your DAW session. So with Melodyne, you can actually edit multiple tracks of information all at once, and you can also use these as a reference. So this is particularly helpful for creating things like vocal harmonies or adjusting harmonies that are split up over multiple instrumental parts. In addition to the track list, there's two different modes up here. You have track mode and clip mode. When you're working in clip mode, you will only see the information in the pitch grid for the track that you're working on for that particular instance of Melodyne. If you're working in track mode, you can actually see multiple tracks worth of information. So here I've got a female rock singer, I've got her all tuned up, and I've applied dynamic just tuning to her vocals. So let's give this a listen as is.
We don't have to look too far to see the face of destruction. You ruin life, you ruin life for me. Pray for death to take me quickly, living life in a lie. You've already taken my child from me. Pray for death to take me quickly, living life in a lie. You're the only thing that keeps me alive.
So one thing I find the track list incredibly helpful for is when you're trying to create artificial backing harmonies for vocals. This allows you to see the original vocal as a reference and also adjust your harmony to that reference. So I've duplicated her entire vocal region here, and I've duplicated the vocal track as well, minus Melodyne. And what I'm going to do is go through and isolate all the parts where I want to create harmony. I don't want to create harmony on everything, just on certain phrases. All right, so off screen, I went through and isolated all of the parts that I want to create harmony on, and I'll load up a new instance of Melodyne.
We don't have to look too far to see the face of destruction. You ruin life, you ruin life for me.
So on these spots here, you're hearing that phasing because we're actually hearing two different tracks playing at once. Now you'll also see in the track list, there's two different tracks loaded here, and you can choose to show or hide the editable notes, or you can use that track as a reference. So the notes are grayed out. You can't edit them like this, but you can use them as just a visual reference for creating the harmonies. Let me just go ahead and rename this track Harmony, and you'll see in the track list, Melodyne has updated the name of that track. So I'm going to show my verse vocal as a reference, but then my editable notes will be my harmony. Now right now, they're basically in unison, so I need to figure out a harmony that works for this. You could also change your pitch grid to snap to the key, so when you move notes around, they're snapping just to notes within the scale. So off screen, I went through and created harmonies for each of these doubled sections, usually using thirds or sixths, and again, just using the gray notes, the reference notes from the main vocal as a reference for what harmony I'm going to use. Sometimes when I'm working with harmonies, I like to pull down the pitch modulation even more than I normally would. It just helps to smooth out the tone of the harmonies. And especially on these notes where I've pitch shifted them up, I like to pull the performance shift down a bit, and that just helps to round out the tone of the harmony a bit so it doesn't sound too bright and chipmunk sounding.
You ruin life, you ruin life for me.
Now the thing about those harmonies is they're really, really loud, and when you're creating artificial harmonies like this, you generally don't want them to be super noticeable. So typically what I'll do is pull down the volume of the harmony track quite a bit, and I'll usually try out a different EQ setting where I scoop out quite a bit of the low end and even some of the high end.
See the face of destruction. You ruin life, you ruin life for me. Pray for death to take me quickly, living life in a lie. You've already taken my child from me.
So again, the goal of creating artificial harmonies like this is not to create big group vocals. To get that sound, you'd need her to go back in and overdub on top of herself multiple times or bring in multiple singers. Here, this is more about just thickening the tone of the voice at certain spots. So the harmonies are really subtle. They're not meant to really pop out in the mix.